This is the Krait MK2, designed and manufactured by Faulcon DeLacy. That's right, it's another one of those rare ships that Faulcon DeLacy designed for themselves rather than buying from another shipyard that's already done the R&D legwork. It's the successor ship to the Krait Mk1, otherwise known as the Krait Lightspeeder. It's funny how the Mk2 followed the Mk1, I bet you didn't see that coming. The Mk1 was a small, single-seater ship, marketed as a fighter and released around 3027-ish. The drive provided was a DeLacy Spin Ionic ZX14, which was presumably a drive that's higher up in the Sidewinder Spin Ionic MV family tree. Once upon a time, the Krait Mk1 was a class-leading ship in manoeuvrability and weaponry, but those halcyon days are resigned to ancient history now. With later developments in drive technology, the Mk1 quickly became outclassed and obsolete, with only a few examples remaining. The Mk2 hit the hangars in 3304, taking up a larger parking space than its ancestor, now sitting on a medium pad, and coming in at not far off 3 times the size of the Mk1. Faulcon DeLacy clearly thought they would try to adopt the mantra that, in this case, bigger is better. It's also changed role from a small fighter to a combat multi-role, similar to how I'd argue the Viper 4 actually performs, but obviously bigger. It's a fine looking ship. Some would say that it looks upside down, but I think it's actually the right way up. It's following a similar design theme to the original Krait for its overall shape, and oddly takes inspiration from the Anaconda with the smooth surfaces up top and a rougher hodgepodge element underneath. Both the original Krait and the Anaconda are manufactured by Faulcon DeLacy, so it makes sense to have taken elements from both the previous iteration and one of their most popular ships. Either way though, regardless of which way up it is, it looks bloody good. Far more modern than the design of the Python, but then again that ship design is knocking on for about 600 years older, so... Speaking of design similarities to other Faulcon DeLacy ships, similar to the Viper, the main entry point is built into the forward landing strut, but instead of a staircase, you get a lift. And I guess this helps when bringing cargo onto the ship, but it really does go to show how much larger the Krait is to its smaller, combat-orientated brethren. Going back to the Python, for the overall breakdown, I could cheat to an extent. I could take the script I used for the Python, make a few changes, and then re-record it. But I'm not going to. That would be cheating. That being said though, there are a lot of similarities between the Python and the Krait, but we'll get onto that in a bit. Back to the cosmetics. Internally, you've got the traditional Faulcon DeLacy formula of playing fast and loose with their cable management, but that aside, it's quite a nice place to be. You get a nice, spacious cockpit with a decent amount of visibility all round thanks to the flight deck jutting out from in front of the ship. You've also got room to bring a couple of friends along with you for the ride, plus some optional refreshments for those longer trips. From the outside, there's also the usual range of cosmetic paint jobs that you can buy for the Krait. The stock one actually looks pretty good, but I've gone with this one as it's a good fit for the ship for my own tastes, but enough about looks, how does it perform? For combat, you've got 3 large and 2 medium hardpoints at your disposal, which is the same as the Python, but they have slightly tighter convergence. That, combined with the improved manoeuvrability and the ability to perma-boost and the higher top speed, means you've got 100% more chance of getting more hits on ships. The good news doesn't stop there either. If you thought that Krait had enough ways to dump projectiles and energy into your opponent's canopy, then you'd be wrong. The Krait has its party piece up its sleeve. You could throw a fighter hangar in there and let your co-pilot help do the dirty work from another vector. Or even better, let them fly the Krait, jump into the fighter yourself, and annoy the enemy like a wasp hovering around a jam sandwich but armed with lasers. So far, this is turning into a pretty easy sell. It's quick, it can arguably deal more damage than the Python, and it's good looking too. So what's the catch? Well, the catch, at least in theory, is defense. If we're comparing against the Python, your base shields, base armor strength, and base armor hardness are all lower than the Python. There's an argument that the increased speed can negate these issues, but it's certainly something worth considering. For this reason, the two ships are pretty evenly matched. Either way though, for me, 2 overcharged thermal vent beams and a slew of modified multi-cannons works pretty well, even if it does push the power distributor to its absolute limit. For trading, it falls short of the Python's class-leading capacity, lacking one of the size 6 compartments, reducing its capacity by 64 tonnes, but its maximum capacity is still 230 tonnes, making it the second best medium ship in terms of raw cargo space. Jump range isn't too shabby either, so it's open to long and short haul trading, and whether you choose to mine your wares, buy them, or steal them is entirely up to you. The Krait will enable you to get your goods as you see fit. For mining, you've got enough hard points to equip all the mining equipment you'll need, and if you're happy to sacrifice an internal compartment, you can bring a fighter along to deter those who think you're easy pickings to loot from. You can also change your cargo racks for passenger quarters, helping to save people from a station that's falling to bits, or just take a few passengers out for a tour of the galaxy. We've revisited the galactic version of TripAdvisor to see what passengers make of travelling in the Krait. Well, this is a step up from the ghastly ship we had before. The pilot still won't pick up any landmines to make this trip go with a bang, and still won't let us out, but at least we have coffee and cookies at our disposal. It's all about the little things. 2 stars. Yep, that is absolutely right. Everyone mentions the coffee machine in the Krait, but few people mention the cookies that are left out on the side. It's a nice touch, and it does raise one concern. Given that most ships in the Elite Galaxy aren't equipped with gravity generators, how do they stay on the tray? Maybe it's excessive treacle holding them down, but we'll never know. For exploration, you can get 50 plus light years out of the Krait, with all of the exploration toys that you'll need, plus in a similar vein to the Imperial Courier, it's a bloody good looking ship to get some of those stellar photos for the album. There is of course an elephant in this room, it's the Krait Phantom, which is arguably better for exploration, but that's one for another review. One other thing. The Alliance Chieftain is one of the darling ships for AX combat. It's fairly cheap to rebuy, quick, agile, can run cool, but the other darling ship for AX combat is the Krait MK2. It's not as agile as the Chief, but it makes up for that with a massive power distributor, so you can keep spamming those Gauss cannons all day long, plus its better hull strength gives an edge for survivability. Also, thanks to that distributor, you can keep hitting the boost button and keep the Krait at its top speed for longer. With the right loadout, you can devastate waves of Thargoid scouts with enhanced AX multi-cannons, or obliterate space flowers with your preferred AX weapon of choice. If you want to pick up a Krait for yourself, without discount it comes in at about 45 million credits. That money gets you arguably the second best medium trader, an excellent weapons platform, and a good all-rounder in general. The Python is the closest rival for its class and costs an additional 11 million, which buys you stronger armour and shields and a little bit more capacity for trading, but honestly I think the Krait is priced just right against the Python. There's been no point where I've looked at it and felt ripped off, unlike, for example, the Federal dropship, where the price point just felt way too much than you should be paying for it. Insurance on the frame is about 2.2 million, but expect that to increase as you upgrade and tweak your Krait. Mine clocks in at about 7.6 million, but I can see it potentially being a good deal higher. So, is the Krait MK2 a good buy? If you're on the fence about whether the Krait is worth it, I think you should personally get off the fence and buy one. Besides, sitting on fences can't be good for your backside in the long run. I give Faulcon DeLacy a lot of stick about buying out designs from other companies rather than designing their own, but in this case they've shown that they do have those skills to put together a gorgeous, well-balanced ship. It's capable of any role you want to throw at it, and unless you want to go in for a purely commercial build where you need to max out the capacity from a medium pad, it's hard to beat. In fact, the only ship that's medium and has potential to beat it here is the Python. If you're going for a pure exploration build, then the Krait Phantom is a better alternative and also cheaper. But if you're mixing it up and need a multi-role ship with a bias of combat, you can't go wrong with the Krait MK2. Plus, it has a centerline pilot seat, and I'm sorry, but I have a preference, and for me, this is a massive plus point. In conclusion, if you're after a medium multi-role or a medium combat ship, give the Krait MK2 a go. Kraitness is, after all, greatness. As always, thanks for watching. If you feel so inclined, please like, sub, share, comment, all of that good stuff, and I will see you on the next video. Thank you.